I mean, I felt all of Fred Human.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Room.
Welcome to Couch in the Rube, our Friday afternoon show, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the new and improved app today. You will notice the difference. You'll notice the user-friendly nature of it. It's fantastic. The Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. And also, our Friday afternoon show, brought to you by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar. The original Couch in the Roof sponsor, an unbelievable place for a date night this weekend. I was just with somebody yesterday who just talked about how Front 43 and Cask & Company, their absolute favorite go-to restaurant in the Lansing area. Two adjoining restaurants, one fantastic menu, two distinct vibes near Frandor and the Lansing-East Lansing border. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Big 10 plus his ass.
What's up, buddy? Was that your mom that you were talking with yesterday? She just had that surgery, right?
Yeah.
She was talking glowingly about Front 43.
It was not her.
Oh.
It was not her.
How's she doing?
A member of the softball team. She is, it's been a process.
For you? Or
for me,
her?
it's been a process for me.
I was about to say, with your texts going back and forth this morning, I'm going like, God, has he never taken care of his mother before? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, the nurse rehab specialist role is not something I've been done a lot in my life, and doing a little bit more now. She's got a great friend who's been staying with us as well, and we've got my sister's coming up, some reinforcements. But it's
some reinforcements. How long is she laid up for?
It's taken a little bit more time to get her, like, she still needs a brace on it to walk right now. So, like, and when that's with a,
she have good pain meds.
She does.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah.
I can swing by some edibles if she needs them.
Yeah. I may start stirring them up in her soup in a little bit. But
mixed with Benadryl. Hey, Ma.
But it's been,
that bad, huh?
No, I don't think the pain's been that bad. It's just been a process. I think she was hoping to be a faster process. Yeah, and
gotcha.
So
So do you have to help with the bathroom stuff?
That's what
the friends for.
The friends for. And
Smart.
she's pretty good at once she's in there. Yeah. She can move around with the walker and the brace on and stuff pretty well. So, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
It's fun. Parents getting older is fun. But, as you and I both have been through, better to have them around getting older than not. So that's
How touching.
Yeah. There you go.
It's better than you being dead, Ma, I guess. Hey.
I didn't put it like that, but yeah.
Yes, I'll get you another cup of soup. It's great that you're here.
Yeah. We have what I think is going to be a good show.
Yeah.
We'll get to your Groovy Donut Twitter questions. Groovy Donuts, by the way, has had the storm yesterday that blew through, did a number on their power, and so they are working to get stuff. They were not open on Friday. They're expecting to be open on Saturday, but check their socials. They're great on social media at Groovy_Donuts on X and on Facebook and everything, and we'll share it as well just to make sure they're open Saturday because they do have a fantastic donut of the week. This blueberry cheesecake donut is, if the fact they weren't open today for it is a real shame.
Come on, Power.
Let's go, Consumers Energy.
What's wrong with you guys? Hurry up.
This is an incredible looking donut, this blueberry cheesecake donut. So I hope it is open. You can order at groovydonuts.com. Swing on by either location, Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing and also in Williamston. They do the baking in East Lansing. That's why. So it matters for both locations if the East Lansing store is up and running. But they are hopeful that it should be tomorrow. But just check on that at groovydonuts.com. 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday through Sunday are the hours. All right. Should we dig into these? Are
we having a? What are we betting? This thing?
Geez, I'm off my. Before we get to the Groovy Donut Twitter questions, as we do every week, unless I forget,
Couch is thrown for a loop.
Yeah,
to get him out that extra Benadryl. He doesn't know where he's at now. He might have taken one himself.
What we are betting this weekend, presented by our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the new app. Check it out. I think you'll like it. Jason, what are you betting this weekend?
Well, I had to sprinkle some on the 3M tournament that is going on in Minnesota today. Not Minneapolis, but it is in Minnesota at a very nice course. Top 40, and it's my fault we didn't have a show Wednesday, or else I would have given these picks out. But top 40, I got Rico Hoey, Austin Eckroat, and Emiliano Grillo, all top 40. That is plus 621. Unfortunately, I'm giving it to you now, so you can't even get it, so I don't know why I'm giving it to you.
Thank you.
I apologize, but I would have if we would have had a show Wednesday.
You could have tweeted it.
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody cares about the golf bets anymore. So I usually wait if someone would have said something. I don't know. Like I feel like people are bored by. Like I did one of those the shorts for the YouTube of Matt Fitzpatrick when I did give him out at 55-1, and he was leading after the second round, and I did one of those shorts. It was like the least watched short we have done. Right? So I was just like, do people even care about these golf? Golf betting, I understand is niche, but I just love it so much, and it's all I'm focusing on because, I just can't bet baseball right now.
Well,
I have to wait closer to the playoffs.
Maybe you could bet against the Tigers.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to, though.
I know. It's not fun.
Like we need to.
We're getting to the point that if Scooball's not on the mound, it's an auto bet at this point. This is a bad baseball team suddenly. I am not yet. I just don't take any joy in it. I don't want to get to that place. So I'm not necessarily going to do it. I will have some money on the women's soccer Euro final on Sunday. Spain versus England. Spain is in regular time to win is like minus 130, and I like that. I've got a futures bet on Spain that pays a little bit better as well. But Spain, I don't love this England team. They've been winning by the skin of their teeth with some helpful calls and other things. I don't think they're as good as Spain. Spain had their close call against Germany in the semifinals. I'm on Spain on the money line to win in 90 minutes on Sunday in the Euro final. That is what we're betting this weekend, presented by our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Let's dig into these Groovy Donuts.
Right, let's do it. Matt C. up first?
Yeah.
What happened? Is this July? Oh, yeah. What is both your gut feelings on how this MSU football season goes? Does Aiden Childs reach his potential?
It's a good question from Matt C. So elevated. No, he has lots of good questions.
Can someone tell me about the offensive line? Can someone just tell me? Are they going to be serviceable?
I think they are, but again,
then I can go from there, I think.
The problem is there's so many scars and so many boy who cried wolf and just so much of the last decade.
I'll take a boy that cried wolf, though. I don't really know anything to give an opinion on for what the season's going to be.
So, and we'll get into this a little more, some other Twitter questions here. I do think Stanton Ramill, who they brought to media days in Las Vegas, who's a redshirt sophomore left tackle. I wrote a column about this today. It was a 3 Quick Steak column, but this was part of it, and it's probably up as you're listening. But can you name me a left tackle after Jack Conklin at Michigan State between now and then? Can you name somebody who's played left tackle?
Brent Jurgensen.
Okay, so what I'm saying is it's very difficult for people to name left tackles.
I just named one.
Did he play left
Brent
tackle?
Jurgensen. Look him up.
I don't even know
Want
who that
some
is.
off?
Since when did he play there?
What do you mean, when did he play? Why do I have to tell? Now I have to tell you when he played there? I'm telling you a name. I give you a name, and you can't. Brent Jurgensen.
Who is?
Hell of a left tackle. Maybe he was right. Was he right tackle?
I don't even know who this is. There's a guy who played for.
What's his name?
Minnesota Duluth. Brent Jurgensen.
Oh, God, I get those guys. I get those two confused.
The Minnesota Duluth guy. Yeah, I think you're making stuff up. I'm gonna move.
I just didn't like how smug you were, though.
So I need to talk for 1 second because there's a water bottle that's driving me nuts. It's like on our table in the studio, and I have to move it.
Oh my God!
Cannot take looking at it.
You're getting up.
I see the stars come out of the sky.
Do we have a bottled water sponsor that we need to worry about? Wow. This guy cannot concentrate during a show.
All right, enough of that. I just drive me nuts. It's like clutter on the studio. Like some jackass left a bottle of water in the middle of the studio.
Do you realize you
table.
can't see it on the YouTube, though?
Oh, really?
It was completely out of the shot,
yeah. That makes it worse.
But it was fun watching you get up.
Okay, because it was driving
What
me.
a weird reason to get up in the middle of a show.
Yeah.
In the middle of talking.
Yeah, it's driving me batshit.
Wow.
So anyway, in other words, they have not had notable left tackles. They have not had an offensive line of note. And I do think, I think this year, again, it's for me at this point, it's seeing as believing with the offensive line. But if I had to bet what's the better unit, the offensive line or the defensive line, I would 100 times out of 100 right now bet on the offensive line. I think it has a chance. They brought in 4 transfers. They have some guys back. They have Ramo, who I think is somebody in the spring you were hearing buzz about, and the stuff that Jonathan Smith said about him and the expectations for him this year. I think they're really, really high on him. I think the offensive line could be decent. Now, they need it to be decent for Aiden Childs to reach his potential, which is Matt C's second part of the question. My gut feeling on this season is 6-6 to 7-5 with a defense that struggles at some places and an offense that's pretty good. That's my gut. Again, you're asking a gut feeling. I don't know what's. This is a gut feeling in July, but that would be my. And I think Aiden Childs has a pretty good year. I think 6-6, 7-5 bowl game. Yeah.
Next one from Matt C. If Jonathan Smith knowingly had a sexual predator on his staff and let him coach a game, would you write a column about that decision?
I would, 100 times out of 100. But that's my job, covering Michigan State, to write a column on that. And the question is, why wasn't there something written?
How different do you
Michigan?
think it would be covered? Not by not by you, but others in the Detroit media.
I don't know. I mean, I have scars about.
Blue wall.
I have scars about. Scars is the wrong word because it didn't bug me, but I have memories of the way things have been covered at Michigan State that have been very serious things that seem more intense, but they don't seem more intense necessarily because of the Detroit media. They've seemed more intense because of the national spotlight, and I think the questioning and some of the criticism of Detroit media is fair to some degree. Now, the reasoning for it. And you may have some columnists that lean Michigan, and that's why. But the reasons for it are not these conspiracies in the newsroom, though. I'm sure of that. That's the thing. And I think often, too, when you're focused on one school, and if you're a fan, you're focused on your school, you're hypersensitive to this stuff. It doesn't mean there isn't some biases out there, whether intentional or not. It doesn't mean there hasn't been some shit on Michigan State that hasn't been fair. It doesn't mean that Michigan skated and gotten away with some stuff in terms of how they should have been covered that should be more, But, Larry Nassar and Bo Schembechler are different figures in terms of those scandals, right? The Weiss situation is, Harbaugh should absolutely get criticism for that to some degree, but he also, I don't think, was aware. I think one thing that helps Jim Harbaugh is he has this unaware, football-focused look on his face and persona to him that makes.
Is that what it's called?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is I think it does help him not have to be accountable for certain things in the way people perceive it, because
same look Paterno had, right? The big glasses, the eyeballs, the big in the glasses, just looks like no one's driving sometimes.
A little confused, but and I think somebody is driving. Like I think Harbaugh's a smart guy, and I think he's focused on certain things. I don't know if he was great at managing a staff and understanding what was going on around him. And I think that is a criticism that is 100 times.
Or do you think
fair.
that's how he built it, to act as if you don't know what's going on around you, but you kind of know? I just find that impossible that a guy like that would not know.
I don't think it's intentional. I just think he's a little off.
Matt C., why do these conferences have media days? It's nothing but cliche answers. I guess the media gets a free vacation out of it, so that's cool, I guess.
Well, they shouldn't have them. The Big Ten, if they're going to have it in Vegas, shouldn't have them. You should see how few people were out there and how small it was. And a few things, if you're...
See your boy James Franklin. He wasn't happy about it either.
Yeah, it's just... And the other thing that happens is it's too early for most places. Like, people aren't really into it. Look, we see the page views. We see how many people are reading. We know the interaction. Your heads aren't there yet. It's not saying everybody, because you may be listening going, I'm fired up for football. But by and large, people's heads are not there yet. And what drives me nuts is, and I'm glad they didn't send Aiden Childs out there, because these players do all these interviews out there. And by the time they get to like the second week of practice, there's interview fatigue. Well, this shit's a waste of time now. And they should just pick like 4 players who are never going to be interviewed and send them out there, 3 players, because this shouldn't count towards your interview fatigue. You got to understand that if you're a player. It's a waste of your time to be out there. It is. There aren't that many people out there, number one. It's too early, period. They don't set it up so it best serves media anymore. I don't think they should exist. Now, I understand why they do it in the South. Because in the South, it's 450 degrees. The back sweat and BO is just killing you, right? I'm playing the hits now.
You are.
And you're just waiting for football season so you have a reason to live. And so why not have a media day in an air-conditioned area? I get it. If you're
There's
down
no
south.
baseball. You don't really have a baseball team to root for.
But, yeah, and all these commissioners and folks do interviews with national folks ahead of them anyway, so it's not like it really – I'd love to see them go away. I would happily encourage media days to stop existing in July in faraway places, especially from where media is. I mean, it is a fact that fans are not engaged at the levels they will be in a couple weeks. It is a fact that they're largely useless. These are not debates anymore, so get rid of them.
Well, it's hard to be engaged when you don't go to them if you're a fan, right? If you're the media, like when we went, what year was that? It's like, okay, I was getting paid. It was fun to be, in the summer, we're talking football. We're seeing football players. It's cool for us because we were there. If I was reading about it, I'd be like,
it's a Tuesday in July,
right?
A Wednesday in July. Who cares?
Right.
Absolutely.
So people like us say, oh my God, you know what? When it was in Indianapolis, it was amazing. But that's because us. It was us, and it was cool air and AC and all that shit.
And if you're going to call it a media day, tailor it around the media. And if they did that like they used to do it a decade ago, where there was a lot of really good discussions, you would leave there. 10 years ago, you would leave there with really good stories and conversations off the record, on the record, just ideas for going forward in the season that would lead to stories. You leave there with information. You don't leave with shit now. It's a total waste of fucking time.
Scotty Green's El Camino. Aiden Childs will be a success this year if he does what? Wins the Heisman.
I think that's
a good year.
I think and some of this will come down to the protection around him. But I think it's the next step for him is twofold. One, it's not turning the ball over. It's because if you just take his abilities and his highlights and take away some of his lows,
the fumbles,
that's a really good player, right? Yeah. And then to me, it's the secondary reads and it's the ability to, working on this isn't there, I'm going to this. And that's something that quarterback's coach has talked about with him. And so if he can take those 2 steps, he'll be an NFL prospect this year. If he can just eliminate some of the turnovers, I mean, he'll be a top 10, 15 college quarterback instantly. Now, what that is an NFL prospect, because there's another level, he'll still have to get there. But I think for him, the biggest thing, it just starts with understanding you got to live to play another down. And sometimes when you're really gifted in certain ways, you think you can make a play out of everything. And it's hard to do in college football.
Scotty Green's El Camino, one more. Anything interesting to report about Strayhorn leaving the Spartan broadcast team? And from DMB, why did Jason Strayhorn get fired? How the hell did he let his kid commit to Michigan? Is he a Michigan asset?
And there were a few more on the Strayhorn story that
Jehu Kolkrick now, huh?
Yeah, and I like Kolkrick, and I've always gotten along with Jason Strayhorn really well.
Sounds like Blaha was bummed.
Blaha was not happy about it. Sound like and anything Blaha's not happy about, annoys me because we're Blaha fans here,
right? But you'd think Kolkrick's coming in and just
You talk about fanboys. There's Blaha's in our Mount Rushmore of people we get giddy over, right?
Easily.
Yeah. So
just hearing his voice.
Yeah. And it's for us it's Pistons related 35 years ago, but still it's lasted a long time.
Still real to me, damn it.
And so I don't know why he got fired. I haven't looked into this yet.
He got fired?
Well, he was not brought back.
Oh,
and
that's technically that is fired.
Yeah, when you've been doing it for 2 decades, it's sort of got fired. I do not think the
Who's
idea
next?
The story the story I don't buy into, though, is this idea that he and this is something that's just been pervasive on social media, that he tried to convince Nick Marsh to go to Michigan where his son is going to play. I have not heard that from anything credible. If I'm wrong on that, then I'll get that corrected, and we'll talk about it. But that would be. I just don't. I don't think that's it. Strayhorn is still a guy.
It's
who
a good
loves
reason to
Michigan
fire
State.
a guy, though.
If that were to happen,
That's true.
I don't think that's what happened. And I don't know.
Hey, Nick, you want to go play with my son in Michigan? Just throwing it out there.
I don't know the reasons for it.
Bibby, next. What is the real standard for MSU football? And in your heart of hearts, still believe MSU can ever win a national championship in college football?
I still do. Now, the standard, though, for me is
he's not a fan, though.
Well, no. The standard for me should be that Michigan State is a team that is regularly competing for playoff berths. That should be the standard of a place like Michigan State. And so that most years in November, they're playing meaningful games with a playoff berth on the line. Doesn't mean they're always going to get there, but if the playoff berth is 14, 12, 16, whatever it is, that there are a lot of years where they're in the hunt for like a 9 or win season. But that should be the standard. That should be what they should be. Now, the idea. I mean, we've seen Michigan State have national championship caliber teams in 2013 and 2014, and so that's in the last 12 years. If the current playoff setup existed in 2014 with 12 teams, I think that 2014 team that averaged 43 points a game, that's defense wasn't quite what it was in 2013, but was pretty dang good and had the best offense that I've ever covered at Michigan State. Like, that team would have had a chance. That team's lost a game at Oregon to Marcus Mariota on the road early in the season, and a game they were in control of at one point. Mariota was brilliant. And then J.T. Barrett had a night at Spartan Stadium in a thrilling game in November where he was better than he ever was again. And Ohio State won the national title that year. Like, outside of that team was, I mean, you look back, I do think that was probably, and then 2013, they would have been in a playoff, and that defense was incredible, and it would have been interesting. I would have taken, I don't know, I might take 14 over 13, but because those things exist, and because we've seen that, it doesn't mean it can't happen. Is it likely? Is it easy? No. But the idea that it can't happen, it would be ridiculous, because we've seen teams capable of it in fairly recent history.
Spartan 18770 next. It seemed that Jonathan Smith did not connect well with the fan base last season. Do you think that he has improved this offseason?
I think he understands his environment better. I think that comes naturally. I know. I mean, he just didn't even know the town. He didn't know the city. He didn't know. It's a new community, everything, and then you learn through what people care about here. And obviously, the Michigan game was a big part of that. And there's no way you can leave what happened against Michigan last year. Everything, the loss, the way he coached, the reaction, the on the field stuff, and not learn from it and have a much better feeling.
Should we just come to terms with that he doesn't have a personality and just lets win football games?
Well, he has
I'm not expecting him to come out on Twitter and do like these bits.
Yeah, that's not how he is. That's not how he is.
Do.
Yeah.
Because Brian Kelly, I'm sure it doesn't take him long, no matter where he goes. The first 5 hours he's in a city, right, of a new hire to be the coach.
And Smith
comes in with that personality.
Smith has a personality. It's just not bombastic. It's not
bombastic or bombastic. Either way,
it's not either one of those.
Yeah, that's okay. You can't sit there and fake it. Look at, a guy like Scotty Scheffler. Like, everybody wants him to have this outside life of a crazy party guy or something. So he's like a hero figure. But that's not who you are. So
you got to be you.
Yeah, man. Spartan 18770, Jason, you and Graham are on a 4-hour drive to Nebraska in a Toyota Corolla. Who gets left at a rest stop in Iowa?
Who's driving?
What year Corolla? I mean, that matters. If it's like a 98 Corolla, like, Jesus, 350,000 miles, we're sweating our dicks off, no AC.
Yeah.
But, back when I was still drinking, you would probably have left me, because I would have brought some road dogs, and you'd been like, you'd gotten really concerned if you would have got a DUI.
Especially if it was
I was the one drinking in the car. Do I still get a DUI? So Couch would have been panicky and probably left me.
Especially at that giant I-80 rest stop that's big. You would have got lost a little bit. And
easily. I would be looking for knickknacks and stuff to put in my office.
100%.
Yeah, stupid shit. David Jackson, should we infer anything about Stanton Ramel being one of the 3 players that Jonathan Smith brought to Las Vegas? Does this mean that the coaches fully expect Ramel to be one of the better offensive linemen in the Big Ten this season?
I think they expect him to be look, I think he's getting paid pretty well. I think he's getting paid pretty well based on performance in practice. I think he is a guy that has been the best offensive lineman they've gotten. He's only a redshirt sophomore. They like him a lot. And so, yes, I do think you infer something about him being one of the 3 players. I think it says this is an important position. I think it says this is a guy who's still technically an underclassman in some ways. I mean, he's a redshirt sophomore. But, when they do that, they're signifying they trust this guy in certain ways. They expect certain things, and they said I think that was the most important thing that came out of Big Ten Media Days, at least from thousands of miles away where I was.
David Jackson, are the Tigers this year's version of the 69 Chicago Cubs?
What happened to the 69 Cubs? They just start great and fade? I don't know.
I was just talking to my neighbor Elmer yesterday, and he was saying the same thing, the 69 Cubs. Very reminiscent.
Okay, well.
We have to go back and go through
Well, hold on. Give me some Hoff. We got to
Holy shit, how much Hoff do we need to go back to 69?
Yeah.
Huh?
Peacock.
I am a passenger.
Free Ubers.
I say under glass. I look
Okay,
through
so
my-
they're known as the most celebrated second-place team in the history of baseball. So
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we're not going to do anything at the trade deadline, apparently.
We're going to get, we got
Stand
some more
firm.
questions on this. It looks.
It's not good.
I mean, there is an argument to be made that
Nope. I don't think there is.
that you sell
So who?
Tarek Skubal.
Oh, fuck me. All right. Are we done with that one?
I'm just saying, if I wasn't saying you sell anybody,
taking
but
that
like
seriously.
at this point, if you got a haul for him, this does not.
We're back to the Scooble Hall.
Yeah.
Fuck my life.
Yeah. This has been, but let
Damn.
me ask you this. I mean, this has been it's not just a streak. It's been a demoralizing turn. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's not like a bad week. It's been like, this has been non-competitive. And I think what you're starting to see is all of these situations where a lot of guys who are overperforming have sort of regressed, water finding its level and such.
Javi steroids running out.
And,
You only can buy so much fake pee at one time. You pass those drug tests.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. David Jackson. How BS is the ground can't cause a fumble trope? Haven't we all seen a player otherwise not touch the ground, but the arm and the ball alone hit the ground and the ball comes out? In 1990 at the MSU goal line, U of M's John Vaughn did fumble the ball, and I'll die on that hill. Hell yeah, David.
Yeah.
I love when David goes deep. Like, one of your Twitter questions should always be one of these, David.
Yeah, they're good.
Reminiscent about the past.
Yeah.
Love that passion. Shep, Couch talks shit about the softball guy, the dude who peaked in high school and takes beer league way too seriously with a $400 bat, etc. Is thus a blind spot for you, Graham, and you actually are a softball guy. Perhaps not with the expensive bat, but do other teams laugh at you and talk about that guy on the LSJ team who takes it way too seriously, and everyone in the league knows exactly who they are talking about? I could see it.
No, I'm not softball.
Oh, that
guy.
1,000% happens.
No, I'm not softball guy. No, because I don't look like a guy who takes it seriously. There are guys who are dressed in the...
That's what probably blows people's minds.
I
They
don't take it
probably
that
see
seriously.
you with your fucking Lansing shirt on or whatever you're wearing that day and shorts, and you're like, God damn, this guy doesn't care. And then the game starts to happen, and you're taking it way more seriously than softball guy.
No, I make sure we have to have fun. That is the rule. And there are people who have come up to me on other teams asking to join our team because we have more fun than other
now we're
teams
just
that are
lying.
No, I'm
Just telling lies now on a Friday.
What is I'm not the president here. I'm telling you what happens. It was real stuff.
Oh,
We'll
Hey,
fix that in
oi.
post for half the audience. But no, I am not softball guy. I mean, it's a fair point, and I also didn't peak in high school because I was shit in high school. So there's no peaking. I've never peaked.
peaked after high school.
I've been waiting to peak my whole life. That's what next year's about.
Yeah. Chris Eastlick, what is a sports take that you died on the hill for, despite everyone telling you that you were crazy, that ended up being right?
Do you have one?
Died on the hill for, despite everyone telling you were crazy. I mean, I do have a Twitter receipt for this, but I did say that the Warriors were going to break, before they did it, the 73-9 season, that they were going to break the Bulls 72-10. So I did say that. I don't think, because many people didn't pay attention to it, that said I was crazy, but I mean, some people did, but I don't know.
This is where my
But
memory.
that's pretty much it, I think.
This is where my memory sucks. 'Cause I know there are a couple of them. I know there are a couple takes over time that I've been right on, early, and people didn't see coming, and I'm just blanking, and it's partly because I just can't get my mind there, and I really want to answer this well because I think there's a good one, and I can't do it, Chris, and that's why I suck at what we do. I mean, I really do. I mean, I want to answer this great, and I just can't because it's like on the tip of my head. There've been a couple,
ask us next show.
There've been a couple player situations where I've been like, this guy's for real,
Xavier
this guy
Booker.
isn't, and
Nailed that one.
he nailed it.
Great thighs.
Yeah.
Just give him some time. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. Remember that last year? Fuck. All right, Ken Chu and Andrew Zawiza next. Can you break down the ramifications of Trump's NIL executive order?
It's hard to know because a couple things. One, it's
big and beautiful.
Well, it won't stand up to a legal fight as it is right now. But the other problem, because I don't think any of this stuff will, I just don't know if he is going to remain focused on it and interested long enough. That's sort of the challenge with him, right? Is
Just bring up Epstein again.
Well, right. Is this just
Get back to it.
is this a distraction thing for him? Is this something he really cares about? Is this something they're going to follow through with? I don't know. And then it's executive order. It's not law yet. It's like it's for the rest of his term. I mean, I don't mind some of the concepts of behind the idea that they're trying to protect women's sports and do all this stuff. But what and the question is, and are they're going to give part of what they're saying is the Department of Education will determine funds for schools based on their ability to follow this and discourage pay for play and that sort of stuff. They already got pay for play with revenue sharing. You've got state laws that are being introduced, including in Michigan, that would basically say you can't limit this. I don't know what the ramifications are. It's another thing colleges have to decipher and figure out right now. It's just another thing. My advice for anybody who is interested in this stuff and worried about this stuff is we're a month from college football season. Enjoy college football season. Try and delve in, pretend it's the old times, forget about the contracts and the off-season stuff and all the shit. And then check back in December. And hopefully in December there's a little more organization and understanding of where things are headed. Because the bottom line is Ohio State is not going to let itself play with the same resources as Purdue. Alabama is not going to play with the same resources as Vanderbilt. So outside NIL and collectives and all that stuff are going to be in play. It's not just going to be revenue sharing. But this muddies the waters a little bit. It's one more thing to ask Jay Bat about at Michigan State, for example. It's just but again, the president doesn't have a great track record of staying focused on everything, so I don't even know how important this is going to be for him and, a week from now. So who knows?
The urinal or portal.
Next one from Andrew Zawaza. Graham, why don't you answer my emailed question I sent for the last 2 shows? Is it too long? I really am curious how revenue sharing won't result in some type of contract.
Did I miss it? I don't.
First of all, Andrew, yes, they're too long.
They're probably too long. They're probably too. Sometimes
if you have to ask. It's probably
if it's really long. Well, sometimes the emails is like, oh boy, and sometimes I edit them, and maybe I just missed it. I apologize.
You say, oh boy, when you see Andrews come in the
no,
inbox,
when I see a long email, I open it and I go, oh boy, there's just no way I'm giving this to Jason. And sometimes I can cut them down, sometimes I can't. Just keep that in mind. It's got to be, if it can't be fit in a tweet, then it probably shouldn't be in an email either.
Unless it's a really good point.
Unless it's
then
incredible.
You have to keep everything.
Unless it's incredible. Yeah. And start that with, this is incredible. Just so I see that. I don't, again, I don't know where this is going to go. I do think at some point players will have contracts and players will be employees. That's what I think. I don't see a way around it because otherwise, if players don't agree to this stuff that's happening, the lawsuits are going to keep going their way and there's going to be no guardrails and then there's no point in this. Then you have the Wild West and you have revenue sharing. And so it doesn't make sense. I think at some point we will have contracts.
Dave Lakin next. I'm sure Jay Bat is out working the donors hard, but have you seen or heard anything about how MSU is going to divvy up the NIL monies by sport or improve the football game day experience, more cowbell and less speaker blasting?
See, I thought the cowbell was a University of Michigan thing. I didn't know that was Michigan State. Just borrow that. I don't know where that. The bushes. I don't know. I haven't talked to Jay Batt yet. I'm hoping to do that in the next few weeks, and be it myself or a group of reporters. I think there's just a lot of good questions that to be asked, and I'm not sure he has answers to everything because stuff's still changing. But in terms of the revenue sharing, which I'm not sure if that, when you're talking about NIL monies, football will get 15, 16 million of it always. And we will see situations now where smaller schools who are basketball focused can swoop in and get players, because basketball at the schools that care first about football, which is what you have to do in the Big Ten and the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12, basketball takes a back seat. You cannot have a $4 million would be the max right now in rev sharing you could do for a basketball program and still fund football to the level you need to, and that matters more. So I'll be curious where his priorities are, what he's going to try to do most, what initiatives he already is thinking of, and how much he's trying to just get his head around everything that's going on at Michigan State and what really needs to be done.
John Naughty next. College sports are such a huge part of marketing and advertising for universities. That's not having great TV spots during football and basketball season would crush a school's reputation, not just in sports, but also in trying to recruit prospective students and generate millions in donations and grants that have nothing to do with sports. So, do you think athletic departments ever end up like a loss leader? You know, where schools just spend themselves into a hole because the cost of not being competitive to the university as a whole is too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, in other words, what really matters isn't the bottom line. You'd have to. The problem is athletic departments in most of these places are supposed to be solvent. At Michigan State, they're counting on the athletic department to be solvent. Now, if it was ever and that means pay for itself, right? Balance the budget. If it ever gets to a point where that's impossible, but it's still important to the school to have all this stuff because it is the front porch. It matters. I mean, I go back to 2000. Michigan State wins a national championship in basketball. I graduated high school in 97, and when I graduated high school, you get into Michigan State with about a 3.0. I don't know what that's just the GPA side.
Unless you could play sports.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Sports is different.
Yeah.
But then my sister's class, she graduated Lansing Sexton in 2001, right after the national championship, a year after it. And it was like a 3.4 because enrollment or the applications were so many more people. Everybody wanted to wear a shirt, right? Sports matter. Sports matters to universities. They matter to reputation. They're part of the experience. And so you have to decide, and there are lots of places that can't balance the athletics, and the schools have to subsidize it. It's a good question where things all go. I think Michigan State, for the time being, is counting on they will cut sports at MSU before they, have to figure out another model.
Professor next. Will the Tigers ever win again?
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers Gambling Update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Lee.
Nope.
Doesn't feel like it. Certainly doesn't feel like it. I mean, when those homers were going over the fence against Reese Olson on Thursday night, I was like,
the babyface assassin was getting murdered. I'm like, oh god.
And then the way he shook his head and put his hand up on his brow, I was like, oh my god. That was like signified what this last stretch has been. And you know when the stretch started, by the way? The stretch really started
when we took vacation.
Nope. It started with it started a little before that, but it really
we're to blame.
It's exacerbated by the fact that they moved Scooble's start so that he could start the All-Star game, and then he had a bad start. Then Mize had a bad start after that. The fucking All-Star game, and caring about that. Don't ever do that
Everybody in the
again.
All-Star game was ass.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Don't ever care about the All-Star game again. It's and
we didn't.
Well, they moved on.
It was fun to watch those guys.
They moved Scooble's start because of it, and then he was ass. And again, don't do it.
Carl next. The Tigers should sell and stack their prospects pool. This always felt like the other shoe was dropping at some point. Never felt real. No fear bats in the lineup, and outside of Scooble, vulnerable pitching across the board. Get a haul for Scooble and whoever else. Fuck it. Get a haul for Scooble crowd. All right. And from John Johnson, the Tigers should be sellers at the deadline, not buyers. This team is terrible. They don't have a single bat anyone fears. Scooble can only save you once in a best-of-3 scenario with this offense in high-leverage situations. I don't even think Scooble starts are a lock anymore.
Yeah, so, I mean, the big problem they have is in the Scooble question and whether you're sellers or buyers or stand pat does you no good. You may get to the playoffs because you have an 8-game lead, and
sounds like that's what they're going to do.
The other teams aren't that good. But what if you get to the playoffs? This team is not winning in the playoffs, and this team is not going to get to miss the wild card round because it'll be the worst division champion the way they are, and then you're probably losing in the wild card, and then you're just wasting time with Scooble. The whole point of keeping Scooble, if you're not going to be able to sign him, was you were going to get last year's incredible run and then 2 more shots at trying to win a World Series. If you're going to limit that down to one realistic shot and you're going to try and build through the offseason and hope guys are ready and better then, maybe there's an argument there. But the other thing you need to look at is there a haul because some other team thinks, well, we get 2 runs at it before he's due a contract.
Right. And the haul would go down next year, obviously.
Correct.
We don't say.
Yeah, and so that to me is a serious question that should be had. And one thing you have to do, too, if you are leadership of the Tigers, you can't be worried about the past in terms of everybody that, the trade for Justin Verlander didn't work out. Every one of those prospects wound up getting hurt or not working. And so people have scars from that. People don't think the Tigers usually win these deals and get much back. If you're Scott Harris, that can't be your concern, what happened in the past. Living in the past, get you Mel Tucker, okay? Get you a big contract for Mel Tucker.
Yeah, we don't have enough time for all of that.
Think about what happened with Mel Tucker's contract. They have this amazing season, one season, year 2 for Mel Tucker. It was
a great year.
It was a great year, but the
fun.
foundation had not been set. They had Kenneth Walker and all that stuff. And you get a report, that LSU is interested, which has turned out to be, I think, a pretty phony report. But a reporter bought that hook, line, and sinker anyway, and the school kind of buys into it. And Ishbia, who was around when Michigan State loses Saban 20 years earlier, is scarred by that. Izzo's scarred by. Everybody's scarred by it. Everybody's scarred by the past. And is this the next Saban? They didn't spend. Peter McPherson didn't. Saban will say Peter McPherson lied to him, and Saban. They didn't put the resources into Saban or the football program back then that Saban wanted, and they lose him. And the fear was losing Mel Tucker again. They were scarred by the past, and so they didn't have clear eyes with the present. And it was somewhat understandable. But if you're the Tigers, you got to look at now. And I'm not saying you get rid of Scooble. But if there is a haul, if somebody offers you an incredible haul that you love, that you think can transform the organization, they're already in, I think, a pretty good path, but really transform the organization with high-end prospects, you have to consider it. You have to consider it. You're not getting rid of him unless you're getting something amazing offered for him.
Just prospects, no players that would fit in now.
Well, it can be a mix. It can be whatever it is. But usually,
I need to hear some of these hauls. Everybody just mentions we should get a haul for Scooble, and I just need to hear what the Orioles last year with Gunnar Henderson and the certain pieces with Kjerstad and stuff like that. Look, I can be talked into something like that, but I need to hear some of these other hauls, these teams that are willing to offer a haul for Scooble. Because they are going to have to eventually end up paying.
Yeah, you've got to have multiple top 100 prospects. Maybe there's a major leaguer involved there as well. The problem is most teams aren't going to give you a frontline starter back because they're trying to build for a playoff run. So you have.
And we're pretty loaded with prospects right now.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to keep Scooble. I can understand if we get outbid for him and the years get crazy. Because if another team's going to offer him a 10-year contract, I don't want to do that. No. I can understand if old Christopher Ilitch didn't want to do that. Offer 10 years, $40 million or $400 million.
To me, you cannot stand pat. To me, you don't have to be at the very least.
I think they're gone.
At the very least, you need to go get a starter, and you need to go get one big time reliever. Now the bats are a problem, but you cannot go into the postseason with this pitching staff and this bullpen, and otherwise, and not consider getting rid of Scooble because you're not going to win anything. No. You'd be lucky to get through a series, and you might get through a series. You can get hot. They got hot last year. I'm not saying you can't get hot, but you're not going to get very far with what they have, and so they need to seriously consider the alternative. But standing pat to me is the worst one because then you're just wasting time.
Jebediah, how big is Cheapstaffer Ilitch's boner, realizing that the Tigers need more than a modern-day Babe Ruth to fix this mess? No point becoming buyers now.
You think Ilitch is happy? He's like, well, still selling out.
Cheapstaffer.
Cheapest
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's happy. He sits there and looks at the bottom line. How big is the profit margin? And, he gets a full rod.
He's got to understand that he will never be trusted as the owner until he makes
I don't think
a
he
serious
cares.
move. Yeah, maybe he doesn't.
I don't think he
It's
cares.
a shame. It's a shame.
Should learn from old Tom Gores there. Tom Gores, whatever, how you pronounce his fucking name. That guy flipped it around and turned things around to where he's actually, like, when he paid that Monty Williams deal, people were like, you know what? All right. You can get behind a guy like that.
Correct. When you admit your mistakes, you take
Exactly.
accountability for them, and you put your wallet behind it. People will be with you. That people are okay with that. Yep.
Yeah. Jay Riemenschneider, why are Michigan fans always berated about not attending the school? Unless you're a fan of a school like a Dartmouth, Prairie View, Southeast North Dakota State, etc., you probably didn't attend the school you root for either.
Well, a couple things.
That'd be wild to root for Dartmouth if you didn't go there.
A lot of
Dartmouth guy.
Well, you grew up in town or something, but yeah,
I was thinking gambling would probably do that.
I think a couple things here. One, a lot. I think you're misjudging how many people are actually alums. Like Michigan State has 600,000 living alumni, and like a lot of fans are actually alums of the school. I don't think it should ever be a requirement. There shouldn't be gatekeeping in that way.
It's a cheap shot that people use.
People grow up in a community or like them because a parent did, or just have a moment as a kid and become attached. I think that's all fine. I think the thing that Michigan fans get hit for, but every fan base should, is I think if you don't go someplace, your ability to talk trash about your rival when you've just chosen a school is kind of bullshit. Like, if you go to Michigan and you're talking shit about Michigan State because you chose to root for Michigan, why didn't you just choose to root for Michigan State? You could have just as easily chosen to root for Indiana. You chose to root for Michigan, so now you talk shit about another place. Same if you love Michigan State and they win big in basketball and Michigan loses and you didn't go there, and now you're talking shit about a Michigan program that's pretty good actually, but you just chose to like a school. If you just choose to like a school, I think your ability to talk shit about other schools should be less. But your ability to like a school should not be determined at all about whether you went there or not. I mean, there are lots of reasons for people, and there shouldn't be gatekeeping in fandom that way.
People always love when you tell them how they can root for their team.
I didn't. I said they could.
enjoyed
Anybody
doing
could. But you
I
shouldn't
know.
talk shit.
I know. Jay Riemenschneider, a few weeks back, read an article in LSJ about an aggressive emu in South Lansing, not Eastern Michigan. No. Did it ever attack you, Graham? If not, what would you have done if it attacked you?
We should have the emu commercial, the emu and Doug, or whatever. They should do on at Eastern Michigan University.
I haven't seen those.
Yeah. Anyway, it did not attack me.
You saw it.
I did not. But
well, then how would it attack you if you didn't see it?
I'm saying I didn't see it. Okay. And it did not attack me. If it had attacked me and I had seen it, I would have killed it. Snapped his neck instantly.
What, you taking a swing at an emu?
If it comes near me.
Oh my God! Can you imagine that video?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You're gonna like take it out, like throw like a roundhouse like punch or something? Like
something.
Why would you think the emu would come after you?
I don't know. Like geese do. I don't know.
I'm
what
sure you'd
emus
have
do.
food in your hands.
You've been walking like along a river path, and geese are really aggressive, and those things are
and I do one of those step towards it, like what?
Yeah,
and then I back off, and I'm like, okay. And then I see where it's gonna the stance from there. You know what I mean? You have to like act like you're trying to intimidate the animal, because if you sit there and back off and act scared, that's when they get it. That's when they get fierce. I'm just saying. T-Bone's dad, July question. If you were starting your acting career and could only get a role in an IBS commercial, or alternatively, a role in an erectile dysfunction commercial for double the money, which golden opportunity are you taking?
I'm taking erectile dysfunction for double the money. 100%.
Like, how much money are we talking?
I mean, I wouldn't cost much. I'd do erectile dysfunction for $10,000. Wouldn't you?
Oh my. For 10 G's?
You wouldn't do an erectile.
How many times is it going to air, though?
What you would for? I mean, who's offering you $10,000 for any commercial
Absolutely
now?
no one. But
That's
I don't want to be erectile dysfunction guy for $10K. I mean, I'm willing to embarrass him. I mean, look at this shit.
Especially if it had a good jingle, like some of those diabetes commercials, like Guardians.
You don't want a good jingle, because then people are going to sit there like, oh, there's the erectile dysfunction guy, when you don't have erectile dysfunction really. Like, you have to explain to people you're the ED guy.
$10,000, I'm good. I'm in.
10K?
I'm in.
Listen, it's a lot of money. I understand that. I'm not saying that. But you have, like, I think a lot of these actors that do these commercials and these athletes, that Eric Poe asshole from that Cure Auto Insurance bullshit, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I want to know how much, and Scooble, how much did they pay you guys?
Yeah,
I need to know, because I got to say, as your
either,
agent, I would say, whatever that money is, you're going to make it back off interest, pure interest in your career. Don't look like an asshole kissing this Eric Poe guy's ass, who's so desperate to be famous. I absolutely despise that guy on fucking whatever network. What are they on? Bally's now, FanDuel or whatever. They run those commercials every commercial break when you watch a Tigers game.
Yeah, no, and it's not good. It's not good insurance, so they shouldn't.
So I'm saying if you're telling me it's going to air during the commercial breaks of Tiger games,
I'm good with it.
It's going to air every other commercial break.
Good with it. I'm good with it. I would just go do some community theater like Shakespeare and feel like a legitimate actor, and I'd be good with myself.
Okay. Yeah. Secondly, we need to find an erectile dysfunction company to pay you $10K to be in a commercial.
I would do it.
Come on.
I would do it.
We could raise $10K, I think.
I mean, I would leave my pants on, but I would do it otherwise. Yeah, I would be.
No, What a weird commercial. All right, Mr. Neurotic Pants, Jason, using your gut, where will this MSU football team be 2 seasons from now? What do you anticipate? Well, if you're asking my gut feel, I think there's going to be a new coach in the next 2 seasons.
Wow.
I think after this season, I think they're going to move on from Jonathan Smith. Gut feel. It's my gut feel. I hope I'm wrong. I want to see Jonathan Smith succeed here. Just for Couch alone, pretty much, but for Jonathan Smith as well. I want this program to succeed under him. But if you're asking what my gut feel is on this MSU football program, I think in 2 years there will be a new head coach.
If you think that way, you should download the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app and put money on the under 5.5 wins for Michigan State, because that is the way it would have to go, obviously, for there to be a new coach. Yeah. And it's a great new app. They listen to people who I use the old one. I found it to be fine, but the new one is user friendly, and I think you'll like it. Download the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app today.
All right, Mr. Neurotic Pants Graham, will this MSU program have the same luck with Penn State as D'Antonio usually did? Will there be another team if it gets good at upsetting?
Well, some of those years though, Penn State wasn't very good, and Michigan State was great. But I know what you mean late in that tenure, 2018 and 17, 18. I do think. I mean, I have no way of knowing. And Penn State's, I think, a really talented program right now. I think their just depth of talent's a lot more than Michigan State. It would help though if you had a program that if you're knocking off one of the big boys, right? And that's how you start to become one, right? You can start to get taken seriously. Michigan State could need that. Right now, they seem to have some success. They did last year against Iowa, so maybe Iowa's that team, and they play at Iowa this year late in the year, and what could be a meaningful game for them. So we'll see.
Andrew Gauthier next. Graham, do you truly believe that the recent Michigan scandals, including literal crimes, are being covered with the same intensity as if this happened at MSU? Go back and look at the newspapers and coverage of any D'Antonio-related scandal. It's not even close. Oh, the Corley King Vance stuff?
Yeah.
The Robertson.
Yeah, it's just hard to compare. I mean, I know the people who cover these things, and I like to think their heads are in the right places, but there's no question that it does feel here's what I think, and this is why you feel it more with Michigan State than Michigan. It's not only that the national media came in and everything sort of descended on MSU for a while, but I mentioned this the other day. I think the outlets that are tied to the university, or at least the people who only cover the team because they love the team. They didn't get into journalism and they wound up with a job covering Michigan football. They are, as we've said, they're GoBlueLover.com. They're, all that stuff, right? The Wolverine this, the Wolverine that, the whatever it might be. I mean, one of the people works for our, doesn't work for our organization, but he, Wolverine Wire is like friends with Connor Stallions, right? Like, there's a lot of that. So I think some of the people who cover MSU in those roles, and there are many of them too, not as many, but have been better at being critical of MSU in moments where MSU deserved criticism than maybe the Michigan folks are at. And so overall it feels like there's more defending Michigan, but I don't know that. I mean, again, I don't have that same feeling to the same degree. And do I think if you go back to 2018 and everything that's happening in Michigan now, would it be covered differently too? I don't know what the answer is, and I'm not going to argue that you're wrong on this, because I'm primarily I don't even read 80% more than that, 90% of Michigan coverage. So I don't even understand. I don't even have a great understanding with it. I don't have that same obsession. And so that a lot of fans do with making sure they're covered that way. And I think, though, a lot of fans who don't either in terms of their follow-through with holding people accountable in the coverage. Because there are times where you bring up receipts and people didn't see a story, whereas you see everything on Michigan State, right? And so if you're reading everything that's written about Michigan and you feel that way, and maybe you're correct, and I'm not saying you don't have a point. I'm just pushing back because I can't verify it myself.
Next one from Andrew. With basically nothing else on right now, this is a key moment for the Tigers to capture the hearts of this entire state for the next 3 months. Will they do it, or will they squander the best record in baseball and send us all down FedEx Cup and preseason football rabbit hole?
Yeah, I don't have the best record in baseball now, not even the American League.
And it's down to 8.5 games over the Guardians?
Yeah, they got to make sure they don't completely squander it. I mean, they were legitimately good for a while. I don't want to act like this was always – there were some hitters that were performing above their level, but there are hitters now that are performing beneath their level too. And I think they have a couple I think Mize has had some really good moments this year, and he hasn't been good lately and at the wrong time, right? I think Reese Olson was very good early, and he's coming back from injury. And I think
Flaherty, what do you do with him?
Yeah, but I do think the three, obviously Skubal and then Mize and Olson, that's a decent three. And if you got one more starter there, and that becomes a foursome, that's not bad. And Flaherty is your fifth guy. And he's good sometimes, and I don't know. Flaherty, you start to wonder how much longer you can just go with that, and it's not good. It's not good right now. You can't have him being a top 3 guy for you.
Next one from Andrew. Have you ever noticed that talking heads on CNBC, like Jim Cramer and sports broadcasters, have a similar trait? Going into the British Open, there were so many potential winners. Once Scotty finally won convincingly, it was inevitable, and he is the next Tiger, etc. Well, who was saying that?
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody that was, honestly, in the 4th round, it was pretty much inevitable that he was going to win that tournament, pretty much going
I do
into
think
the 4th round morning. It was pretty much over.
I do think.
And I feel like the players knew that.
Yeah, and I do think this was a tournament where, he's been really, really good for a long time. I do think this was a tournament where people will start to look at Scotty Scheffler even a little differently, like elevated his level if he continues to do this at any. I think I look at Scheffler different today than I did 3 months ago. Do you or no?
Well, of course. 2 majors and what the year he's had in 2025. At the end of it, pretty much. If he wins the FedEx Cup as well, Jesus, it'll be a hell of a season by him. So, yeah. I would never put him in the like we talked about on Monday. You have to kind of do a little, flip basically this again to then we could get into the Tiger, right? The 8 majors, how many wins, because he still has a long way to go to be even considered into the Tiger Woods category.
Right.
I just think, like he said, like Andrew said, the talking heads are sitting there pounding that into your brain because that's what they're doing. That's what they're trying to do. The ESPNs, they're getting all the hot takey kind of stuff. But to compare him to Jim Cramer, I can't believe Jim Cramer's still doing that shit on CNBC. Because I watch American Greed every once in a while, and they pop his commercials up there. And I'm like, Jim Cramer is still doing this, charging people? Right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Graham. I appreciate all of our conversations.
I got
to say, sometimes, I love doing this show. I just feel like we can bounce stuff off each other.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, sorry. I was just, I didn't really have anything to say. It was a good point, but I don't really know what to say.
No, it was great.
I'm agreeing with you.
I agree. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Not even a word, just. Steve, can Gramanito and Yesanik place bets on the Tigers losing? This may help turn it around. Are we witnessing the greatest collapse ever? And from Nestle's Quick Hotel, time to bet against the Tigers? Maybe they just do the opposite of last season, go from a postseason lock to the outside looking in by September. And I've thought about that. I thought about that about 3 weeks ago. I'm like, damn, I was at a playoff game last year, and I didn't think that was possible at this time last year. So could it be possible?
I would not watch a Tigers game this weekend without Groovy Donuts in your system. If you have a box of Groovy Donuts with you, just to comfort yourself, man. Like nothing brings joy. Nothing can ease the pain better than a box of Groovy Donuts. And if you're going to, you have people over, or you're just looking for something to, I'm telling you right now, 6 Groovy Donuts. You can cut them up and get a little of each, however you want to do it. It's fantastic. They do everything really well. Their plan right now is to be open Saturday, but again, keep your eye on their socials. And the donut of the week, groovydonuts.com. Blueberry cheesecake looks absolutely incredible. I really hope they're open Saturday. 2 locations, Lake Lansing Road, East Lansing, and also in Williamson, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Mr. Benjen with a question from Istanbul. Wow. How doomed are the Lions, having already lost a D tackle for the season, among other injuries already?
Yeah.
It's the Peyton Manning curse.
Yeah. I'd rather have it
I knew it.
happen now when you can still make moves and adjust easier than you can in the season. And it wasn't like it was the critical
It's nobody
piece.
else, please.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mike Scott next. It's the lying about having shows and then bailing with no explanation that makes me sad. It's always the lying that's the worst. It's not. That's on me. Sorry, we missed Wednesday. I should have told Couch before the show about Wednesday on Monday.
And it's not just that. And it turned out my mother's surgery was Tuesday. Wednesday was kind of a little bit of that
coin flip.
Coin flip in our it was not. It was
it's
not
great
all,
having you on this earth, Mom. What are the alternatives?
It worked out that we didn't have a show, but we did not discuss it before the show, right? So I just went into the usual Wednesday stuff, and that was on us.
Sorry about that. Yeah. That's not me. Ben Chulik next. Last year there were 7 Spartan Speak episodes during football season. What's the over/under for the 2025 football season?
I would set it at 9.5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So what happened last year? What happened with 7?
I took more control of it in terms of so last year Phil Friend had moved.
So take the under?
No, that's fair that I took control. Phil Friend had moved to a different job, but was still producing it in certain ways. And so our schedules and his schedules needed to align and all that stuff. And it does get trickier in November when basketball season starts. That's usually when, but I do think we'll have one almost every week now that I would take the under. I would take the over 9.5.
I've taken this over. Thomas, what's a unique Lansing attraction, restaurant, etc., in addition to the requisite ad reads that you think needs more love? One of my friends is moving to the area, and I'm compiling recommendations for them. Jesus.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Couch's house.
Yeah, well, no.
Yeah.
So obviously Front 43
and
Cask and Company and Midtown Brewing Company, which we mentioned.
Besides the original.
Besides, right. I'm just, putting them in there so people, places that, recommendations they need to go. Places like Dagwoods, I love. Like if you're looking for a good dive bar, unique attractions to Lansing that would be. State Capitol's a fun little tour and things like that. And
the Lug Nuts
game,
yeah.
I'm trying to think what's another great place. LS Teco, the West Side one, not the East Lansing, the real LS Teco on the West Side would be another.
That's enough.
Yeah, we'll go through. Thomas,
good.
reach out to me. I could come up with other things, but there's lots of good stuff in
Graham will get your phone number.
Yeah.
Take it off air. The Hondo Carpenter of Southern Maine next. I took Michigan to make the playoff at plus 200. I have MSU under 5.5 wins at plus 105, which is more likely to happen.
All right. So, Jason, what do you think here? Michigan to make the playoff plus 200. MSU under 5.5 wins, which is more likely.
I like Michigan to make the playoff. I just don't. Plus 105, I don't like that short kind of money. The plus 105 for under 5.5. You went through the schedule, and I feel like they can get to 5, 6.
Yeah. So here's.
I still like Michigan to make the playoff plus 200.
I would go. Well, I don't.
Those two.
I don't love the fact that it's expanded playoff makes things more possible, obviously. If Michigan's going to ride with a true freshman quarterback all year and truly ride with him, I do not think they make the playoff. It's just very hard to do. Now, maybe they've got everything else around him. Maybe he's a, next level
what
kid at a different level.
What is playoff pay? Is it minus money?
Yeah, it would not be great. So I think it's more likely that MSU finishes under 5.5 wins, frankly. I don't think either is likely. I've told people I think the over MSU is I think 6 is a pretty good play. I don't think it's like a lock, but I would think under 5.5 is more likely than Michigan making the playoff if they're truly going to ride with a true freshman quarterback.
Skylar Verdon, with NIL and paying players, how much money is it worth being a 3-star versus a 4-star versus a 5-star? I feel it's worth bribing recruiters with how much money is on the line and how much people obsess over stars.
Depends on the kid and the market, and it will be interesting going forward how much schools want to pay recruits versus guys they have in their program. Like one of the things that Jonathan Smith talked about this week at Big Ten Media Days was the 70 guys returning and the continuity and how important that was to the program, and I think it is. And keeping guys like Stanton Rimmel, who's all of a sudden is your best offensive lineman, and you need to make sure he's paid like it. Like that, those sort of things, I think have to be priorities. I think the recruiting money is where it gets dicey. I do think I think the best thing that could happen in some ways to getting recruiting, like how recruits are paid under control, will be collective bargaining, because the players' union, or whatever association of players agrees to something, will not give two shits about recruits, because they'll already be players. They'll already be in college. They'll want to get paid there. It'll be a weak union in that sense, and if you might actually wind up with some sort of salary limit or salary scale for recruits if it's collectively bargained, and the people making that decision for the players are largely people who are already current players.
Original Dark Mantonio, why is MSU so obsessed with beating Michigan? I listen to pods of other schools, and they want to beat their rival. But aside from Ohio State, I don't hear the same kind of talk as MSU. Here, it's Smith's got to win 8 games and has to beat Michigan. The next coach must beat Michigan at a 60% clip, and on and on.
Well, I do think it's one of the more intense rivalries out there, and there's a lot of feelings that are deep-seated and pent up, and it's also a rivalry that it definitely makes the mood, okay? And for Michigan State fans, and it does to some degree for Michigan fans. Michigan State fans have seen themselves take control of that rivalry. They know how it feels. They've seen coaches do it, and I think they think it's possible, and so that's part of it too. But there's just a lot of really intense feelings, and I bet there are a lot more matchups and rivalries where people feel the same. I bet you at Auburn they feel the same way about Alabama, right? I don't think it's
they do.
Yeah,
no way.
Yeah.
Original, you once said with Aiden Childs on campus, MSU should be competing for college football playoff appearances and Big Ten titles. He has 1, maybe 2 years left, and they don't seem to be on a trajectory to really compete for either in that time. So will Smith's tenure with Childs as the starter be a failure?
Well, you never know when that's going to come on out of nowhere. Like the 2021 team, nobody saw coming for Michigan State, and all of a sudden that would have been a playoff team, right, in the modern current 12-team playoff system. And so you don't know when it could happen, and especially if there's 2 years left. We'll see. And if he has a great year this year, and a great year to the point that he's an NFL prospect and a first-round prospect and is ready to leave, they're probably going to have the type of season where they're in the discussion for it, right? So but yeah, if they get nowhere with Childs as the starter, I also don't think, though, that the whole tenure of Jonathan Smith is built around Aiden Childs. They're developing a quarterback now. They'll sign others. But certainly he was supposed to be and is the guy who ushers in the new era and is really key to early success, and he's a big-time talent. So if they're never competing for a playoff in Childs' tenure and he plays 2 more years, yeah, that would be disappointment, no doubt.
Sinners Dog 97. Why would a journalist delete a video of him talking to 3 players of the school he covers? If they wanted their comments withdrawn, why wasn't the article he wrote about their comments not also removed? And for money back, who do you think asked Tony Garcia to delete the video of Michigan players being jackasses? And why did he bend over for them like Dominic's hooker girlfriend? And no, I'm not buying Tony retweeting Harn's hypothetical explanation after days of ignoring everyone that was asking why he deleted it. Harns gave him an out, and he's going with it.
And we need Harns on staff for these sort of questions, because Harns is interested in this. Like, Harns has that fan mentality of like,
wait, what happened? What was the video?
It was like a video of like Michigan players. I didn't even listen to the audio, but they were like beating Michigan State players with a belt or beating. They were saying they were going to beat up on Michigan State, whatever it was. I didn't even watch the.
There, play
like
hard,
this?
stick your cleats.
It was that.
Asses,
and then
but
it was.
They've got to use the cleats to brush their teeth with.
I think there was still a story about it that he wrote, but he deleted the actual video. I have no idea. I don't even know the explanation. And I'm sorry, it is.
Isn't Tony Garcia one of those just nice guys though?
He is, and he's not.
He doesn't.
I don't.
Does he mean any harm? I don't know. Tony Garcia.
I should look up. And I apologize for not having an answer to this. I just been.
How
busy
could you
with
have
those.
an answer for this?
Well, I know Tony Garcia. He works in my company.
Oh.
I'm not even talking about that. I haven't even watched the video. Like, I am so disengaged from this shit in the summer and care so little, and I apologize because it makes us less of a show, and I want you guys to
really
engage.
Just lie to people. Watch it, man.
I'm sorry.
You're willing to do an erectile dysfunction commercial
100%.
for $10K.
Yeah.
You can't be bothered with a 10-second video for our listeners?
Didn't say that. I didn't say
Love
that.
these people. They
same. And
Yeah,
I
it's the reason why we
apologize.
do this dumb shit.
I will do better.
I'm sorry for Graham. I'm going to apologize for him.
I don't know if anybody asked him. I don't know the situation.
He's talking about having Harns on staff. Like, what is wrong? What?
Well, because Harns will ask the questions that
no one wants to ask.
No one. Well, it's not just that no one wants to ask, but it's like, really, we're going to deal with this? All right, Harns will deal with it.
That's good. It's good to have a Harns around sometimes. Yeah. Jarrett, for college football, what's your Final Four and national champion this year? Fucking knows.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's too early to even.
I need to go to the Mountain West press days or whatever the fuck they call it.
I was trying to do a like an all Big Ten rankings and an all conference team for some publication that had asked for it, and it's really hard.
Half-assing one of those.
Well, yeah, because you're looking at what other people say. You don't actually know. It wasn't one of those, but it was. But still,
dude, I used to dive into those as a kid, man. I could not wait for those magazines.
It's tough
to know that there's some half-ass columnist out there that's just going to send one, fire one.
Yeah, and I don't know why Tony deleted that video. I would not have deleted that if I were him.
That.
And right. I just feel bad that I don't have a better answer. But
call him right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing Harns has going for him though is he is everything you're thinking he thinks. Like it's inside the MSU fan mind of like, wait a sec, why did Detroit media just do this? You know that and an instant question on but it's not like. I mean, it's not.
Did Harns just Venmo you to mention him again?
Yes.
Like, what is happening?
I'm just saying it's not. It's a useful service. It really is, Dev. I'm not.
You want to plug his website? What the fuck is happening? All right, Alan Perlstein. Will Jackson Kohler be a 25 minutes per game player at the 5 next season?
Not at the 5. I think he'll be a 25-minute per game player, but I think he'll play a mix of 4 and 5. I think you'll see a lot of Cooper. I think you'll see Jesse McCulloch. But I do think, some of that will be less about him and more about what other guys do to force their way on the floor or not. So, for example, I think one of Kohler's real advantages is he can play either position. Some of it's a little bit matchup dependent, but he's their best rebounder. But if Cam Ward winds up being somebody who really has to be on the floor a lot, then Jackson Kohler's going to play more at the 5, right? And so how good people are around him who are smaller players will determine how much he is really at the 5. I would guess that Jackson Kohler's a 27-minute a game guy, and 10 minutes of that is at the 5. But there's an argument that certain lineups and there was a point last year where they went smaller and that made them better. If their best lineup winds up being with Kohler at the 5, then there'll be more of that. But 25 minutes seems very high.
Travis Maynard next. Last week I asked about depth. You said it depends on whose ankle. So are we an ankle away from Nick Sanders playing meaningful minutes at the point, or would Tang or Fort slide over? Why can't we just order one of those 22-year-old Euro pros like everybody else? Why, Graham? Why?
So what you're saying is if Jeremy Fears went down, or Divine Ugo.
That sounds right.
Sounds right. Yeah. Went down. Would then they wouldn't play Nick Sanders. What would happen then is
don't coach my team.
Trey Ford is a guy who's comfortable handling the ball. He was a point guard at one of his junior colleges, so he's been a combo guard. I think that is what you would see more of. You would probably see Trey Ford in that role to some degree.
Do you think Izzo just calls him Neek? Like, does he even attempt the last name?
You mean
Ooga Booga Booga?
You mean Divine?
Divine. What did I say?
Yeah, Neek.
Maybe he calls him Neek.
It'd be amazing if you called him Neek. I would love that nickname. That's great.
Parker Weiss next. What's the consensus on how Smith did at Big Ten Media Day? Did he raise excitement or lower it, or did it stay the same? And were there any winners or losers from Big Ten Media Days?
The loser to me is
the whole thing.
Yeah, the loser to me is just reason and rationale and respect for the Big Ten commissioner and coaches. Because like Kirk Cignetti, he has a point in that playing a freaking waste of time schedule helped them get into the playoff last year, so why would you do anything different? So when Cignetti talks about, dumping a series with Virginia to pick up a couple FCS teams, and they play nobody again this year, that just to me is not what college football should be about. Like, who wants that? Like, you want big games. Like, think about it from a Michigan State perspective. You're going to Spartan Stadium. You don't want them to play 3 nobody opponents in the non-conference at home. If you got 3 home games, you want Boston College isn't like Boston College is in Alabama, but it's at least a notable historic program, right? It's not like you're playing 3 FCS teams. It's not playing Kennesaw State. And you think back to like 2015 and that Oregon game that was so significant at MSU, and one of the great nights at Spartan Stadium in a long time. You want those events, and I think the playoff needs to be set up to encourage that too. So like Signetti and that stuff and Petiti and all these Italians and like these no offense to Italians, I like Italians, I'm just saying, other than the fact that you celebrate Christopher Columbus Day. Other than that, I like Italians. But the idea that there should be four playoff berths, automatic playoff berths for the Big Ten just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, in what world is the Big Ten automatically better than the ACC or Big 12 every year? So they only get 2, and the Big Ten gets 4. You can't predetermine that. If you want automatic bids, everybody gets 4 who's a Power 4 conference. Like, some of this stuff has no reason and rationale, and they're just selling it spoonful, just shoveling this shit at us. Like, you're supposed to be a logical human being, and these are smart people, and yet don't buy this stuff. I think it was the loss of respect and reason were the big losers at Media Day. I was not at Media Day, so I had Jonathan Smith in terms of his overall, press availability. I don't know how it went. So
after all that,
sorry,
I have no idea how it went. Hearing nothing. Dave Lakin next. It's probably just a coach speak thing, but does Jonathan Smith use more or less cliches than the average coach when addressing the media? Is it harder for Jason to pick up interesting Coach Smith sound bites to use while you're talking? What does that mean?
Yeah, he doesn't use a ton of cliches. He speaks like Yoda. We've talked about this before. Like, he'll do sentences where it's, I'm
sorry, only one person speaks like Yoda.
Jason, do you think that Bill Beekman?
That's real. Really, I did not do anything to that.
But he'll it's sort of the order in which the sentence is that he has
Jason,
do you think?
Come on.
That Bill Beekman.
He just says Bill Beekman at the end. I love the show. Maddie B. Sharon Moore faced one question. About cheating at Media Day. And this was as a repeat offender. How can anyone say that they are not treated differently by the media?
They don't televise his podium.
Welcome to the blue
they
wall.
just televise the press conference. And you don't waste good questions. If you ask a question at the press conference, you're wasting your fucking time. Like, the podium is where you at least have a chance, and I don't think they televise that. So I don't know what he was asked. And maybe you're referring to this, and maybe you've read everything, and maybe he wasn't. Maybe he should have been asked more. A lot of people didn't make this trip, and maybe more should still ask him about that. But I don't know how much he was asked. So I wouldn't go based on what you saw at the press conference, because that's not really where Big Ten Media Days happen.
Maddie B., does this Tigers team remind you of last year's MSU basketball team? Great sum of parts, but not quite elite yet. Guys like Sweeney and Vierling only take you so far. Maybe this is the Tigers version, mid-February slump.
I mean,
everybody slumps, right? I mean, it does feel worse just because we can't score any runs, but all of these other teams with the best record in Major League Baseball have had slumps.
Yeah,
Are you panicking too much?
I don't think that analogy is there. It doesn't feel the same. Like, I generally worry right now whether this Tigers team is just not very good. Like, they're playing that. Like, the Michigan State went through a slump where, they don't look as good as they did with their best, and it's not firing all cylinders. So there's that realm of it. But I don't know. I desperately need to see the Tigers have like a winning series.
That would help.
Yeah, just to change how I feel about them right now.
Munfield Keg, now that Strayhorn is off the football radio broadcast, isn't it time for MSU to upgrade both sports play-by-play guys? Look at how much Benetti raised the bar on the Tigers broadcasts. I would love someone younger who could grow into the voice of MSU sports. Get a Johnny Kane. What?
Sorry,
right?
early. Yeah,
get a Johnny Kane. Oh, he's serious. Get a Johnny Kane. Sorry, early hot take.
So we don't do George
Sorry,
Blaha.
Johnny Kane throws me off.
We don't have George Blaha slander on this podcast, so we can't, that's the answer.
We can talk
to that.
about Will Tiemann, though. It's about time.
Well, and again, who would be a good I do think
Blaha.
I do
Let
think
him do it.
And there's a couple things. One, football is much less of a commitment. You can fly somebody in, you can get a bigger name. They come in, 12 broadcasts. Basketball is but if you could find somebody who was a good voice of Michigan State, radio and pay them enough to make that worth and could grow into the role and be there for a while, that would be great. Once Blaha decides he's done. Yeah,
I know. C-Dubs91, what does it mean if a bet has value? Doesn't every bet have value if you win money?
No, that's a good point. No, value means
like a guarantee win. Yes.
So you look at a line, and you may not win the bet, but the line is good. So there's value in the line. You think, boy, this is a good value bet, and that's what it means. Now, whether you win or lose is not that important. Value is in the spread, in the juice, in the bet you're making.
It makes you feel better when you lose, and you go like, "Well, it had value."
It had value. It was a good bet, right? Yeah.
C-Dubs, is ad revenue for online news that horrible that I need to pay to read articles on almost every news site nowadays? Major news networks included.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's where it is. Maybe
brutal.
It is. It's not helpful.
The Daily Mail just started doing that, where you have to pay for their shit.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Paying for that. Clint Bainey, one ball. What ranking will MSU hockey have on the first poll of the season?
It'll be top 4. They were a number 1 seed last year. They got a lot of guys back. I don't know exactly what who else has whatever else out there, but it'll be top 4 for sure.
Clint, how the hell did Penn State hockey creep up on us so fast?
Well, Penn State started a program which helped them initially because you didn't have sometimes it helps to start fresh, but they've been good at times, and obviously they were really good last year. I don't think it happened fast. They've been really good at times. This has never been a bad program.
Clint, will Nick Marsh lead the Big Ten in receiving TDs?
He'll have a chance. I mean, obviously the kid at Ohio State is next level. It's interesting. These guys are like sophomores and still have to play a whole nother year before they can go to the Big Ten. But Marsh will have a chance.
You're getting paid
because he'll be a featured dude.
Some dude, Couch, you should just stop defending your blue wall colleagues. It goes like this. You stammer through 3 minutes of saying why there isn't a blue wall and then follow it up by saying you don't read half the shit we're talking about.
Oh, man, it's like a live listen.
Nailing this.
Yeah.
I personally don't read any of it either, as I figured it all out about 20 years ago. You're not qualified to dispute the blue wall. Goddamn, some dude.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Ask Graham for a gift card when you see him.
We are going to wrap on that, and I apologize because we have a bunch of really good ones that we will include in Monday's show, and I promise we will include them in Monday's show. It's just we ran out of time.
That's a great way to end it.
It is a good way. It's not going to be better than that. We appreciate all of you putting up with with just my averageness, and especially today. We'll be better Monday. I promise. Well,
No, we won't.
I don't entirely promise. We appreciate all of you, though, producing our show. Hope you have a great weekend. We appreciate our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen Bar. Unbelievable place if you're looking for a date night. Go to caskandcompany.com. Make a reservation there. Great reservation system. We appreciate Firekeepers and the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app. And, of course, our friends at Groovy Donuts. Keep an eye on their socials. They're going to be open. Unbelievable addition to your weekend if they are. Help them out. They lost a day of business to GroovyDonuts.com. 2 locations, Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing and Williamston. GroovyDonuts.com. Jason.
Yeah, man.
Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Room.